So we're live. Hello, everyone. This is Krystian, Netguru. I'm the AI consulting lead. And today we have very special guest, Ania Szostek from Zalando.
Hello.
Hello, thanks for having the time for us. I guess this role is like you're busy most of the time, I would say, right?
Yes, definitely, especially that, you have to catch up with everything that was happening in the AI space.
Yes, it's so difficult. So maybe why don't you tell like few words about yourself? I saw like amazing experience, product experience on your LinkedIn. So what was your journey?
Maybe a bit exaggerated.
Yeah.
Basically, I've been working in the product space for more than 10 years across tech companies and a little bit less tech companies. I started my journey actually completely working on a physical product, but still product.
Yeah.
And then moved into Google, where I was working on trust and safety, but also in e-commerce space, Google Shopping.
Mhm.
And afterwards, I moved to completely one of the biggest B2B products, Tinder.
Yeah.
And I'm currently back to e-commerce within Zalando and working on AI fashion assistant since about 2 years. So from the inception.
Yeah. Amazing. And very exciting journey across physical products and even like Google Tinder and digital commerce today, which is amazing. So like today we will discuss for next around half an hour the evolution around product, but basically how it all evolved from like search engines or search let's say experience into what you call style agents and the entire agentic approach. What is also very interesting for me is what is the role of product manager in 2026 plus. So I guess we will discuss it. But as you mentioned, you work across like multiple organizations, like so P&G, Google, you mentioned Tinder, Zalando today. What are kind of sort of lesson learned around product and specifically AI and product in digital commerce? What are like the biggest lesson learned in the product environment, do you think?
Yeah. So, I think I've seen the full spectrum because, as I said, like I was initially working on the physical product, which was very linear. Like, it's a typical
Yeah.
waterfall type of thing that
Waterfall,
we do.
yeah.
That was in P&G. Google, it was very much like engineering driven, very deterministic. And in Zalando now in the AI age, building AI for fashion has taught me that this is like, we are really into like a probabilistic era.
Yeah.
Also within Zalando in the past and still now, obviously, like we have a gigantic team working on search. So we build systems that kind of like new things. And now within my team, we build something completely different because we build a system that sort of creates. And that changes how we treat product development because you cannot treat it as if A, then B. You have to treat it like, I don't know, I would compare it to a kid's brain. You basically need to teach it and you don't know what's going to be the final output of that. And that also shifted sort of role of a PM because it's not only about defining requirements, but it's also like about defining a taste of that output. I think you can't really automate that taste. You have to sort of like build frameworks that will be good for teaching. So that's a completely like different approach, and I can like talk about like how we do evaluations and things like that, but that's different. That's probably the biggest difference.
Got it. So if you could walk us through slightly what in fact are those style agent, as you call it, like what are the features, how it like what's the difference between regular 30-year-old search engines?
Yes. So in the search engine is basically keyword based, and it has to have a literal match between your user query and between what you're asking for and between what we have in the database. And that doesn't work for a lot of use cases. Like, when, as humans, and especially in fashion, we don't think about as much in like, red, white, things like that. But we think about trends, like, and styles. Like this trend is, I don't know, there was like a recent trend, quiet luxury, or gorpcore, right? Or style, like elegant, casual. And these are the things that search system doesn't understand, right? But AI is at the same time very good at translating it into like, other queries, and then match it to our assortment. I mean, there is still a challenge how to match it and to make it like, the most relevant possible. But that's the biggest difference. Like, you can ask in the natural language, I need a full outfit for my trip to Peru. And AI is going to translate it into specific requirements, and search is not.
So this is like literally asking your friend, "Hey, I'm traveling to Peru. I need to, buy something. Can you recommend?" So this is like totally different. Yeah.
Yes, and that's our goal actually. Like, at the end of the day, what you want to have, and we still have a long way to be there, you want to have like a either it's a friend or like a personal assistant, someone who knows you very well, someone who basically, like, when you enter the shop, and let's say you've been to that shop already like 10 times. So whoever is by the counter, like he or she knows you very well. They know what you bought last time. They know your style because they see you quite often. If you like, when you walk somewhere, they kind of like can see your taste and style. So they are able to provide you with the best recommendations for your lifestyle, for your taste, your style.
Yeah, amazing. So I know that the entire generative AI space is still experimental. There aren't very well-known frameworks. Everyone is learning currently, the entire industry. Comparing to old-fashioned, frameworks, we knew, like you mentioned, waterfall. I don't know, 40 or 50 years old framework, literally, right? So I was wondering, what are the biggest, challenges in building that such solutions around something as personal and subjective? What was like the biggest headache for you, if you can share?
Oh, different headaches. First of all, like you mentioned, fashion is very subjective. Everyone will like a different thing. So when you run like quality tests and like UATs, like usability tests within the team, you will have different answers. So it's even like hard to design specific LLM evaluations because the good looks like differently for different people. So that's one of the tests. But I think one of the biggest challenges that we had actually refers to that connection of search and LLM, connection of our assortment to what LLM is able to retrieve.
So like a data, literally.
Yeah, because we need to translate these vague user queries into set of relevant product results. And relevant in terms of matching criteria, like hard criteria, like material, color, probably like things like that, but also relevant for specific customer and their context, because they have different entry points also when entering the conversation. And our system understands what red dress is, and the database understands that very well. But I think like now we are better at that. But in the past, our biggest challenge was that this, like someone asked, outfit for a Coachella festival. Like, how do you translate that? Like, how do we prompt LLM to translate that into specific queries that can then be translated by our search, and that good products can be retrieved from our assortment. So we had to connect these two systems in the most efficient way, and that was I think a lot of headache because of how are we going to evaluate it, this relevancy, this correctness, and another challenge I would say was that trust and safety in the early stages. Like, how do we build that framework and these guidelines, especially when we were scaling across different markets?
Right.
Another challenge, maybe more from the operational point of view, was latency and quality.
Mm-hmm.
People are used to doing click, 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 and everything is so instant, right?
Yeah.
And then suddenly you have to wait a few seconds. And I think that now people are getting more used to that, because everyone, Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity, when you have this an icon, what is going on, like the streaming and of responses, and you have to wait. But in days, that was driving actually a lot of churn.
Yeah.
The few seconds is a lot. But the unresolved challenge, let's say, is that AI is trained on the whole internet, right? LLMs are trained on the whole internet. So their default style and taste is very much average.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course, because it's like copying the average kind of taste.
Yes, exactly. So how do we solve that? And I think that is still a little bit unresolved. Obviously, you can do a lot of training of the model, which is very expensive. You can do RAG, and you can add a lot of personalization signals. We are trying different things. Some are less successful, some are more successful, but the challenge still remains.
Yeah, amazing. About this longer loading time, there is this joke that you need to change loading into thinking, and now you are AI driven, startup. So
yes, exactly.
Just like that.
Exactly.
Just like that.
But it is this. I think it requires probably some more time for more and more users to get used to that. That if they want to have this personal stylist conversational flow, they need to accept a little bit more latency.
Yeah. And
but let's see.
Yeah, definitely. And once it will get more popular, people will adjust, right, and get familiar with those new kind of UX patterns, UI patterns we need to introduce together with the technologies, right? Because still there are some, let's say, limitations or cognitive, abilities that we have, and of course, all 30 years of internet experiences we had. But,
totally.
Yeah, so switching a little bit into the product space, because this is what I would say might be very interesting, because you made a lot of you have a lot of experience across multiple organizations, even industries, and you've observed how the entire product role evolved, right, from the early product driven, like hardware product driven, into engineering driven organization, experience driven, very much, I would say, right, at Tinder now, commerce driven or taste driven. So and now we have this biggest shift into AI tooling workflows. So I was wondering, what do you think about the product manager role, like today in 2026, how it changes, like even from the operational perspective? What do you think? What is our role? Are we like, I don't know, like a dinosaurs, or totally opposite?
I don't know exactly, but I have some thoughts about it, because the boundaries are basically getting really much blurred between what PM does, what UX does, what engineer does. And I see it in my current job now as well, very much. And I was a few months ago listening to the concept from this VC company, Anderson Horowitz, and they called it like a T-shaped development.
Yeah.
And so as a PM, you will need an intermediate knowledge of UX and engineering. So kind of like, T-shape, right?
Yeah.
So,
T-shaped skills. Yeah.
Yeah. So you are here, PM, and this is your UX and engineering knowledge. And so you need to be able to design and code yourself. And now with the tooling that we have, I think that everyone should be able to do that.
Yeah.
But your expertise will still be in the product, right? This is your T, the leg of the T. And the same for others, like engineers will be able to design and they will be able to do the product, but they're still like experts in building it. So I think for PMs, this basically means that we have to become builders again. I think there was this shift some time ago that we don't need to build at all. Like I think the last 10 years, and now suddenly I think there's like this way back of like, we need to become more technical again. We need to be able to build and deliver the outcome ourselves. Like kind of like coming back to like full stack building for PMs.
Full stack building, AI driven. That's so exciting. I would say I've just noticed there was this Davos conference a couple of weeks ago, and there was this talk with Andrew Ng from Silicon Valley, and he said that he see this massive shift in product in the Valley currently, where developers to product managers or product manager to developer ratio was one product manager for 20 developers, like back in the days. And today it's because of vibe coding, AI assisted UX design, even like AI assisted research. And again, vibe coding abilities so that people can build things in the minutes or in an hours, right? As an early version, of course, not like a commercial product, but early prototypes. So now he see this ratio 1-to-1, literally. So yeah, as you said, like builders.
Yeah, and I think we are slowly moving in that direction. I see it also in my team, like product management team. The way we can prototype now quickly. Like, we don't need to ask and wait 1 week for UX and engineer to get together. We can just like quickly prototype it ourselves to get the first idea out and iterate it.
That's really amazing, because at the end of the day, it will give us, the better ability to ask the right questions, right?
Yeah, it's very empowering. It's very empowering.
Yeah. It's like, unblocking basically. Or so, like coming a little bit back to the commerce space or digital commerce. I always have this question: what do you think will be like in next steps? What are the trends, signals of change? What gets you really like excited in 2026 plus? Let's say what are you looking into as a decision making stakeholder?
So there are kind of like there's one shift happening at the moment, and I think it's from knowing to doing. Let's say so. The system at the moment knows things and can retrieve these things, but the move is to agentic, so to doing. So basically, like AI acting on your behalf, and obviously we also have these conversations at the moment within Zalando, like how do we enable that, and how do we jump on that train as well, so that users customers who are searching for specific items, they will be able to do it within ChatGPT, Gemini, etc., and like kind of check, complete the journey there, but also like how do we enable AI doing things on your behalf? So that's one. And I think everyone is jumping on that train now because that's the natural thing of how technology progresses. And I think it might be quite a big disruption for the entire industry. Let's see in the next few years, or maybe quicker, actually, probably quicker.
Yeah.
But I think that what personally excites me the most, where I think the biggest value will be, is this hyper personalization.
Yeah.
But not only question answer hyper personalization, but paired with visual discovery. So I think that the entire industry will be using more and more customer data, obviously under consent, right? Past returns, size preferences, styles, colors, like basically whatever is available there to be that personal stylist for you. This though has to be paired with some great visual effects, because at the end of the day, commerce, or especially fashion space, is very visual. So I'm really curious how this part will be solved by, by competition, by generally the industry, because at the moment I think it's like, the whole conversation, the dialogue is relatively, I think, many people like already nailed it. But how do you make it like, sticky with this specific type of a customer that likes to browse and explore and be inspired? It's like, how do we pair these like different worlds of like, conversational flow and a bit of like, Pinterest style inspiration and things like that?
Yeah, yeah. I guess that one of the challenges might be that we will, if everything will be generative, right? The question is to how far we will go with, as you mentioned, like average taste. What will be this actually, personal things? Because this Canva effect, that right on the one hand, Canva helped us to create very nice design, but at the end of the day, we've landed with all the designs looking exactly the same, right?
Yes. Yes.
So might be the challenge, I guess, for you, so that it's still be,
Yes, and I
yeah.
think this will be probably the biggest challenge among all of those, because we have we have the tooling for like for agentic
Yeah.
things like that. This is more of a how do we develop that, but that taste thing and personalization, so that personalization on steroids, let's say,
Yeah, yeah.
that will be the challenge remaining.
So talking about it a little bit, what do you think are the things in your area, or in digital commerce area, that AI should never do? Like you wouldn't like to, give it to AI. What are the
Hmm.
elements?
Hmm. Actually, in the commerce part, probably less so, because we
Hmm.
can teach a lot.
Yeah,
And I think if, like, with the evaluations and with humans in the loop, I believe we will be able to teach a lot of things.
yeah.
We are also working with fashion experts on our side to do that, to do this human in the loop evaluation.
Hmm.
But I'm thinking what AI shouldn't do in general. In general, I think it's easier to answer that, because outside of commerce, I think it's just like, shouldn't try to replace human connection, I would say. That's probably the thing for me, that should facilitate, like,
Hmm.
remove barriers.
Good for us
Uh,
product managers.
yeah, handle the boring stuff. Let AI
Yeah.
handle the boring stuff. But I think shouldn't fake the bond, human bond.
Hmm. Yeah. Very, very interesting. But again, this is good for us product managers, like a little bit like being a platform or facilitator of those points of interaction, let's say, between
Exactly.
departments or people or stakeholders or customers or tech.
Yeah.
So yeah, very interesting. So probably my last question, because again, you observed the evolution of product management across last decade into AI enabled, and your organization, your industry is really adopting a lot. Zalando is really like probably somehow ahead of the market, right? In terms of adopting the AI changes, and obviously you see a huge opportunity in AI. So I was wondering if there is any advice you could give to other either product managers, product directors that are just starting their AI journeys. They are not, maybe they are thinking to, as you mentioned, jump into the train right now, but they are a little bit like behind. What do you think is the approach like today, when, as you really mentioned in the very beginning of our conversation, everything is changing like weekly? What do you think, how to kind of how to start?
Be resilient, first of all.
Okay.
And maybe adapt. Let's say adaptability is the skill now, because
Yeah.
in AI, I think the technology and is changing faster than our roadmaps. So just
Yeah.
adapt to that. Um, and that's probably one advice. Um, and the other one, which I think we have a great learning in Zalando on that side,
Hmm.
I would warn against doing AI just for the sake of doing AI.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So make sure that there is a real problem to solve, and don't fall into this trap of like, a shiny AI. Just because it's AI doesn't mean the customers will like it. And we have a great learning on that front, when at some point we put it more prominent, and it a little bit backfired for us in our A/B test, but it was a great learning to then integrate it more naturally in the user journey and solve real user problems.
Yeah.
And the other one, maybe the last advice, evaluations. You don't know what's good. If you don't know what's good, then really invest in evaluations.
Yeah.
That's probably will be like the last piece of advice.
All right. Amazing. Thank you very much, Ania. It was very, very interesting and insightful session. We discussed so many things, starting from agentic approach versus search, product manager role, future trends, and how to adopt, and what are basically, the best advices for the other organizations or industries. Thank you very much. It was very interesting session, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed for next releases, next agentic workflows that Zalando will introduce. And thank you very much for having a time for us.
Thank you for having me.